여러분 안녕하세요. 미주중앙일보 최인성입니다. 룩킹포맘 투게더를 시작합니다. 룩킹포맘 투게더는 70년대부터 90년대까지 한국에서 해외로 가야 했던 우리 한인 입양인들이 다시 한국 내 가족을 찾을 수 있도록 돕는 그런 프로젝트입니다. 룩킹포맘 투게더는 한국의 보건복지부 산하 아동권리보장원이 후원합니다. 아동권리보장원과 저희 미주중앙일보는 한인 입양인들의 인터뷰 이외에도 다양한 소식을 여러분들에게 알리고 또 사람들을 이곳저곳 연결하는 많은 활동을 함께 해나갈 계획입니다. 여러분들이 응원해 주십시오. 동시에 여러분들이 해주셔야 될 것도 있습니다. 영상을 꼭 끝까지 시청해 주시고 주변에 있는 많은 분들에게 보실 수 있도록 전달해 주시면 좋겠습니다. 부탁드립니다. 오늘은 교육자가 된 한 입양인의 이야기를 들어볼 건데요. 76년 미국 오리건으로 입양와 자랐다고 합니다. 그리고 지금은 우연하게도 서울 출장 중에 있는데요. 조디 질, 한국 이름 김지애 씨를 줌으로 초대했습니다. 안녕하세요, 김지애 씨.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well today, thank you.
How's everything in Seoul? How's the weather like there?
It became very cold this week. I have to wear goose down coats.
Really?
Seoul has the best goose down coats. I decided that.
Briefly, what's your business there? Meeting people, taking care of business. What kind of business was it?
I specialize in F1 visa student exchange programs. And when I come to Korea, I like to meet with families, with schools, with leaders in the community who have students who are interested in study abroad. And then in terms of school, we develop programs specifically for that school to send maybe groups of students over for like winter camp or summer camp or one-year study abroad programs.
I see. Tell our viewers who you are, please.
Sure. Well, my name is Jody Gill, and I'm a Korean adoptee. I was adopted in 1976. Right now, I'm 47 years old. I have a family of 5. I've been married to my husband for 26 years, and we have 3 daughters who are university age. Currently, I travel to Korea often and have more of an interest to find my birth family, given the new programs out there with DNA connections, and also the media seems to have more interest in helping Korean adoptees find their birth families.
I see. I saw your letter from Jimmy Carter's giving you the citizenship over there back in 76, I believe, right?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So,
right.
As far as you understand and you know, what kind of protocols and the process you went through to be adopted overseas back in 75, 76?
That's a good question. I was pretty young, so my memory is the agency at the time, I think, prompted my parents to do that. I had to wait for maybe a year or two. I didn't have to memorize, the Constitution or anything major like that. Mm-hmm. But I did have to go to a special meeting. They had to complete some paperwork and some signatures were made. And I got some great pictures with one of the government leaders at that time.
I see. Now, I ask this question to every single Korean adoptees out there. Now, your Korean name, Kim Ji애, according to the paperwork, is that name from your birth family?
There's a possibility that the person who left me at the police station could have been a relative or caregiver and gave that information to the police, as well as my birthday. Or there's a possibility that I was just left at the police station with no information and somebody gave me that name.
You were adopted to this wonderful, beautiful family in Oregon, Portland. Tell us about your adoptive family.
My mom really wanted a daughter, and after having 3 biological sons of their own, they decided it was a good idea to adopt. And they felt like it was kind of God's will or hand of God that continued to give them information about Holt. So I was adopted to a very strong Christian conservative family.
I see.
And 3 brothers, older brothers. All get along well. My parents were married. They've been married over 50 years. They've been married the whole entire time. So there was that stability with our Christian faith and with the family unit. I think the biggest challenge was the economic issues that came in that time with my father being out of work for about 10 years.
Now, every Korean adoptees went through the same probably, and also it must have been hard for you because you are within that Christian family. Now, tell us about your campus experience, discriminations, and also differences that you have to face with your friends out there.
Yeah, I think the first time I remember was going into kindergarten and having poems said, that were like Chinese, Japanese, something about dirty knees, look at these. And it was a little shocking. Like, I had no idea what they meant. And then the students would like pinch their eyes in the corner and look at me and smile. And went into like middle school. I remember there was one boy in particular that would call me a chink every day. I mean, the positive side is I had a lot of friends, probably seen like more in a popular group because of the friends that I had. But even with that being the case, there were people who were just uneducated and they came in with their own set of, discrimination.
What was your response to those uneducated students out there? Did you punch them or kick them? What did you do?
Jody today would have like beat him up, but back then I just went under the radar. I think I like asked my brother if he would help because he was older, and I don't think he realized like the seriousness of it all. And I think the difficulty is you can't defend when you have racist things said about you. You can't defend it. So what do? You just kind of like put your head down, you try to ignore it. These days, I think it would be handled a lot differently. And ultimately, I think I asked that my counselor to be removed out of that classroom.
I see. I have this wonderful pictures. I believe it was right after you arrived at the airport in Oregon, Portland. Am I right?
That's true. That's Portland International Airport. That's me in my 70s garb.
Are these boys your wonderful brothers?
They are.
Okay.
So what I can see is it looks like my brother Jay. He's the oldest brother on the right, and I'm thinking that's my brother Mike or Darren on the left side. And someone looks like they're touching my head, but it's hard to see from this angle.
Okay. They're doing fine, right?
Yeah, everybody's fine.
Just wanted to make sure. Look at this one.
Yeah, this is after I had been in America for about a year or two. Looks like my naturalization photo. So maybe my mother took me to the current. Yeah.
It was just a happy little lady right there.
Yeah, that was my mother. I was very connected to my mom. In fact, other people wanted to hold me who were her friends. And I guess due to trauma, I wasn't having it.
I see.
I didn't like other people holding me.
Do you happen to remember that moment that you swore to the flag, national anthem stuff? No?
Yes, actually, I have a pretty vivid memory of even coming into the airport and coming to my home first time.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't have I rarely remember having that photo taken. I remember standing in line and the way that it was back in the 70s, but I remember being in the office of the governor, a government official, and playing with his fish.
Elementary, say 8 years, 9 years old?
Preschool.
Preschool, okay.
Yeah, that's probably 4 years old. And they put the shorties in the front. That was always me. Okay. I was definitely one of the shortest ones in the classroom.
Now you said this is a college, right?
College cheerleading squad, 1993.
I see. In the college, I believe, right? You're washing your car.
Yeah, that's one of my first cars that I purchased. And the funny story is we put a lot of money into our kids' education. My husband drove that car for 20 years of our marriage. Like,
really?
He did not want to. Yeah, he did not want to pay for a car payment. So he got me the minivan for the kids.
Oh my
And
God.
then he drove that car until it died, basically. I think he sold it for $100.
Here's a driver.
There's my husband, 1995.
So you guys met on campus?
We met in high school. He needed help with math. I don't know if that was a ploy to get me to hang out with him or not, but
Now, along the way, I know the Portland is a big community. Were you able to be exposed to any kind of Korean heritage or Korean culture around? I know there's a big Korean community up there too.
yeah, I think it's developed, especially in the last 20 years. Holt, being in Eugene, Oregon, I think Portland was one of the main hubs for adoptees to come and be adopted into that area. At that time, my mom knew of like one Korean store. She would take me there once in a while, and it was so foreign to me. So foreign. Like I'd come in there and it smelled like fish, and it had just this like really different smell. But that was the first time I had Korean food. And Korean food, I remember very specifically, there was like japchae there, glass noodles and rice and kimchi and some, different Korean foods that my body really responded well to.
I see. Now we all always love people bringing all these ideas and encouraging message for these Korean adoptees that we're interviewing. Now this time we have a local pastor who took the liberty of sending us this wonderful message in a video. Are you ready to watch this?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's watch this.
안녕하세요. 저는 LA 근처 가디나에 있는 나성금난연합감유회를 담임하고 있는 이석부 목사입니다. 이렇게 영상을 통해서 조디질 한국 이름 김지애 씨와 그리고 입양아 찾기를 도우시는 아동권리보장원과 또 수고해 주시는 미주중앙일보의 모든 분들을 만날 수 있어 기쁘고 또한 감사를 드립니다. Dear Jody Jill, I'm so happy to greet you in the love of God and the grace of Jesus. I saw your pictures and heard your personal story. I feel like you are already is my long-term friend. I recognize you are always smile and in your pictures. And even though you must have met difficulty and hardship in your journey. Now I am so proud that you are the wonderful educator and excellent Korean adoptee. You are the blessed person on the frontier. I pray that you are able to meet your family in Korea and for more happiness. I appreciate the program and looking for mom together and then many people are with you. 저도 작은 일이지만 함께 하겠습니다. 여러분도 함께 해 주시기를 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
There was a Pastor Brian Seokbu Lee from Nasong Gumnan Church here in Southern California. You want to say something to Pastor Lee?
I thank him for taking an interest in adoptees, and when they say like you're already a friend or I already feel like family, I think those are really special words to adoptees. There's that missing piece that they're always trying to find. So when those words are said, I think they're very powerful. So I appreciate his support.
Absolutely. 자, 이 목사님 감사합니다. Now, I know you carry on a busy life. At what point, at some point in your life, I totally believe that you feel like you have to do something this journey where you have to find your birth mom and dad or birth families. You did everything, I understand. But what really motivated you to come forward and do this journey?
You know, my answer is not going to be as sentimental as some. Like some people are looking for that, piece of the puzzle, and I'm also looking for the piece of the puzzle. But I don't know if that means a reunion or not. I know that gathering more and more information as a part of the journey is really important pieces for me to know. I think I'm a lucky person because I know enough about the Korean history, context, and the culture to understand how difficult times were during that time. So I guess I hope to help other adoptees in the journey too, like if they never find their birth family, to be able to support them and see a bigger picture of gathering information is good, you know. So I don't know if that quite answers the question, but I think the thing that really interests me is the DNA programs that they have out there.
I believe that's a good motivation that you can start from. Now, you talked about the DNA test. There are a lot of companies out there, websites, and now even the police department in Seoul or in Korea is running this database. What kind of DNA test did you did, and what are the verdicts you came up with?
The DNA test that I did first was Ancestry DNA, and originally my husband did some research and he wanted me to do the 325 camera DNA kit, but what had happened is COVID happened and they were not at that time distributing kits out.
I see.
So when I did the Ancestry DNA test, the results came back to match me with two others with pretty high numbers within like the 300 count. And they happened to be, when I reached out to them, they happened to be adoptees as well. In 2021, I submitted information to 325 camera through my friend Christine, and then just Monday I submitted my DNA to the Korean government. So now we just wait.
Now I understand you come to Korea, back to the States, doing business. Chances are that, say, you finally meet your mom. It's hypothetical, but is there anything that you want to tell your mom?
I think I want to let her know that I'm at 100% peace with the decisions made for my life. And given what I know in the paperwork, I was very, very sick. So placing me in the care of the police saved my life. I know that. Placing me in America, it saved my life too, because I love Korea, but their education system is really harsh on children. I don't know if I could exist in the education system here. It's very, very difficult. So I feel, because of the way I'm designed, I feel I have been given a good life, and I would want to tell her, you know, she's forgiven if she feels that shame, but to try to keep that soft space for her. As a mother of 3 daughters of my own, that's what I would want for my own daughters. If I did anything that was offensive or wrong to them, I'd want them to forgive me or give me that soft space and keep that communication line open.
When it comes to international adoption, now I know you come to Korea, China, talk to other educators out there, you interact with the students. Do you still believe that we should still have this international adoption policy? I know some of the countries kind of ban it, but do you think it's necessary now, or should we just ban it totally?
It's such a tough question, because there's the side of over promoting international adoptions as some kind of unicorns and butterflies and rainbows, and some people come out and they have great experiences and some people do not. So I have mixed feelings about it all. What I do believe is that the families who adopt, whether they're domestic or international, need to be vetted properly to know that they are true caregivers, and that their intentions for caring for the baby is done on a pure basis. So that's a tough one. I know that there is a problem of unwanted babies or stigmas of single mothers. So there's lots of reasons, especially in Korea, to relinquish children. I've seen children in Korean families, especially those who I have connections with because they're in the schools that I work with, and they're doing well. I have some that are not doing well in Korean families, some that are doing well in American families, and some that are not doing well in American families. So it is a mixed bag, very complex.
I see. Well, I hope you take care of business well in Korea and come back to Oregon in one piece, not frozen, right?
I hope so as well.
Thank you, Jody. Nice talking to you. We'll keep in touch.
Nice talking with you. Thank you so much for interviewing me.
Thank you. 자, 룩킹포맘 프로젝트를 해오면서 많은 입양인들과 대화를 하게 됐습니다. 대부분의 입양인들은 입양을 어떤 버림의 과정, 누군가를 버렸다라는 과정이라기보다는 사랑하는 아이의 더 나은 미래, 더 좋은 미래를 위해 부모님이 희생했다, 그런 과정이라고 받아들였습니다. 그리고 서로 부모님이, 친부모님이 만남을 거부하더라도 충분히 이해할 수 있다는 말도 덧붙입니다. 그리고 다시 만나게 된다면 저는 괜찮아요, 저는 이렇게 잘 살아왔답니다, 행복합니다 라는 말을 꼭 전하겠다고 합니다. 혹시 망설이고 계신다면 조디 길, 김지애 씨에게도 그런 말을 어머니에게 또 아버님에게 할 수 있도록 여러분들이 그 기회를 허락해 주시면 어떨까요? 애타게 부모님을, 가족들을 찾고 있는 김지애 씨를 기억하시거나 혹은 정보를 갖고 계시거나 도움을 주실 분들이 있다면 저희에게 지금 곧 연락 주시기 바랍니다. 자, 오늘 룩킹포맘 투게더 오리건으로 76년에 입양된 조디 길, 김지애 씨와 이야기 나눴습니다. 한국아동권리보장원이 영상 제작에 도움을 주셨고요. 진행에는 저 최인성이었습니다. 저희는 다음 영상에서 여러분들 다시 만나겠습니다. 여러분 감사합니다.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Yoon Hemi and I am the president of National Center for the Rights of the Child, also known as the NCRC. The NCRC is the one and only government institute in Korea responsible for developing and implementing child policies and child welfare related projects. Well, every year we handle about 2,000 requests from adoptees to find their birth families and support them with our post-adoption services. Well, we are working diligently and we are here to listen to you and to help you navigate the search process in any way we can. We are working to enhance the adoption information disclosure system as well as the laws and system in Korea so that adoptees wishing to reunite with their birth families can access necessary information with ease. We will also expand the DNA test program to help more adoptees with little records about their birth parents successfully reconnect with their birth families. We are always here to help you find your family. We want your search to be successful. We are working closely with the government and the other agencies and are supporting network building for the adoptee communities. The NCRC and Korean government will continue to listen to you and aid your journey to reconnect with your birth family. Thank you. 감사합니다.